Good morning, Craig.
Hello, Gina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Bright and early this morning.
Yep. Tomorrow starts even earlier. I have accountability call that's 5 o'clock in the morning on this side.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And so the guy lives in Cleveland.
Okay.
We get Liz today. Woohoo!
Hey, Liz.
For a minute anyway.
The guy lives in Cleveland and he was out at EXPCon in Vegas a couple weeks ago. And our call is 5 a.m. And we've been making for him, it's 8, but I've been making the 5 every single time, right? Even though I've been out here, I still do the 5 o'clock because that's our accountability call. It's accountability. So I literally texted him like, get your lazy convention ass up, dude.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. And I think I got a call at 8 o'clock this time. And he's like, I'm so sorry. Forgot about the time change. I'm like, 8 o'clock's 8 o'clock, dude. Anyway,
Got it.
Mhm.
so how the heck are y'all?
Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. What's going on in your worlds?
I had a successful meeting yesterday with the FISBO.
Anything.
Yeah, so I actually didn't try to list the house. I just wanted to see it. I have a cash buyer who potentially might want the house. So I'm going back out so I can do some video. I was in a rush yesterday, take some pictures, do some video, send it to my client and see if it's a possibility. I think it is. Yeah.
I love that. I also like that you didn't go to list, and normally I would never say that, but it's a FISBO. And
Yeah.
FISBOs are this process of getting it going and all that kind of stuff. And, they're just the process. They're usually not like one and done. They're just not.
Mhm.
Now, they could be, but the guy I knew that did it at a really high level, and he did over 100 units a year, considered a monopoly game. And that's all he did was FISBOs. And he would just go out and go out and go out and go out and go out. And he did it in Virginia. And Liz, in Virginia, it's a buyer beware state.
Mhm.
Because it's a buyer beware state, sellers have no fear. They're like, because there's nothing, they can't be held liable for anything. So the fact that he did FISBOs in Virginia successfully, I'm like, wow, like, how did you do that?
Yeah, that's not easy.
It's not. It's much easier in the other states. I don't know how many states are buyer beware. There's not very many. But the other states wherever you have a lot of seller disclosures, that means that the seller can get sued. That's why we have paperwork at all, because somebody got sued at some point. So whenever you have heavy seller disclosures, it's an easier state to go get FISBOs, because you can scare them, because the reality is they could get their butt sued.
Mhm.
So anyway, very cool, Craig. Very cool. All right, let's hear some more good news. Who else has got what? You know it's
know.
not you, Liz, because I
I
just
don't know.
up and I only see the back of Kathy's head.
I don't know. Well, I had a call with Bonetta last night. We chatted. I hadn't talked to her in a while. And we just talked about some like affordable housing program resources and stuff we're looking at up here. So that was kind of good to help me piece together that part of my business, because that's the part I really want to get, ramped up and going, especially with what's coming and what prices are looking at up here are just, I don't even know how people are keeping the faith, but
Feds are raising again too. Did you guys see that?
exactly.
Yep, going up again. And they said it's going to last longer than they thought, and it's going to keep on going up. And
What's crazy is like people up here don't feel like we're in pain. Like people are in pain because there's so much money that comes in here. Like they literally live in this microcosm and there's no problems here. And I'm like, do you open your eyes and see what's going on?
so
It's heartbreaking.
For the past year, I've been sending out text messages saying, are you prepared? And I have gotten not a huge amount, but a good chunk of agents who are like, you're an idiot, you're stupid, it's never going to happen, we have no inventory. And, right. And I'm just like, it's coming. It's,
Well, that's it, especially after attending Jay Connor's event, like the inventory is coming. Like it's gonna be coming.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people in well, there's a good number of people in my sphere that have things they're trying to do for either family members or themselves eventually, and transitioning out of like corporate housing programs or higher ed housing positions that don't know that they can do anything because one, in some areas there's no inventory, but two, looking at the price of even moving a family member up closer or moving a family member up from, a different part of the state. It's just kind of like the financial, whether rent or buy, you're in the same position up here. So it's just kind of like nuts to me that this is the state of affairs, but I'm committed. These people are going to find their housing one way or the other. It's
I really think that like last time, there's all this news swirling around, and what people really need is a clear voice of reason here, where
Mhm.
you live here. So when people will be like, the news said da 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 da, and I'm like, that's awesome, that's national, or that's
Right.
global, depending upon what's going on, but that's national. Would you like to know what's going on right here? And usually that got them like, wait, what? Because I'm not fighting them. I'm not like, don't listen to that crap, it's stupid, even though I want to. You agree with them? Yes, that's exactly what it's like nationally. Do you want to know what's going on here? And then they're like, yes, because clearly they do follow the news. Clearly they do want to know what's going on.
Mhm.
Don't know what's going on right here. Right here.
Mhm.
And if you guys want to ever see something scary on the news, I'll see if I can Google it and find it. I watched it. Who was that? Liz, you were there with me. Do you remember that thing that they showed at Lou Brown's event? It's local news. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
So it's local news, and what they showed you is that so the newscaster would come on in, I don't know, name a city, it doesn't matter, Denver, and he was and for the local news today in Denver, and then he would tell you the story, but it's the same story in every single
Throughout the
city
country.
throughout the
Yeah.
country. It's
Yeah,
it's literally they're doing it almost completely
yeah.
synchronized voice
It's
and
scripted.
it's scripted.
Mhm.
It's crazy, and if you
It
want
is crazy.
you want to blow somebody's mind, show them that.
But
And
most people that I show it to, they still don't believe it.
I know they think it's completely fake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
oh, they wouldn't do that. Like, okay.
We
wow.
didn't think we'd be living through a pandemic either, but here we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Let me get you some more sand so you can go a little deeper in.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. It really, really is. It's yeah, that's why I think people need a strong voice of reason, and more so as you're into this. I know that in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, what people really want, all my newsletters were literally stuff curated out. I would open up the newspaper that day and I'm like, well, this is what we're writing about, because the news was so rich in fodder every single day with what was going on. And then I would do, I would do this and then like, well, what does this mean here? And then I would break it down so people can understand. I would show them reports and I would break it down so they could understand. And I actually had people, it's the weirdest thing, who would show up with a binder of all my newsletters. And I have a binder of all my newsletters, but you could see exactly what was going on with the world. It was kind of interesting to actually go back and look and go, oh yeah, I remember that, I remember that, I remember that, I remember that, So it was really easy to get fodder out. Literally.
Well,
open
the
up
other
this-
thing from Lou Brown's event that I took was, remember the two movies he mentioned? One of them was 99 Homes and the other one was, I forget the name of the other one, but the 99 Homes one was about the whole foreclosure and how people lost their properties and how, it was heartbreaking to even watch that movie. And I'm just that reel keeps playing in my head. It's like, there's gotta be another way to get these people better situated in the event that, they're trying to move on to something else and not still feel the burden of that, rental costs being so high or unaffordable. I mean, housing's fundamental, people. Let's take a page out of that book and stick
Right.
that in front of our face, please.
Yep. All right. Let's dig in on that happy note to some more good.
Sorry,
No, it's okay. We're going
didn't
there.
mean to
It's all
bring it
good.
down.
No, it's all good. It really, really is. So who else? Because it's an interesting conversation and people are talking about it. And we are not burying our heads in the dang sand. But for a second, we're gonna go on a happy note with one of you three ladies on the bottom of my screen. What you guys got? Yes.
So last night I waited on the vice mayor, Don Harden, which is one of the largest contractors in Middle Tennessee, and two other political figures, and got a coffee date with them.
Good for
Go
you.
on, Brianna.
You must be in a great restaurant, Brianna.
I
Oh my
am,
gosh.
I am like the steaks cost like $135.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you're running with the right crowd.
So Howard Gentry, the vice mayor, went to college with my dad. And so I went up to him, I was like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, oh my God, good to see you. How's the family? Da, da, da. And he introduced me to everybody at the table. And so, you know, he's like, oh, how's real estate? I was like, great. In fact, you know, in my role with the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, we're working on affordable housing. We're trying to bring everybody to the table. And he's like, oh my God, let's make that happen.
Love that. Congratulations.
Nice.
So Monday at 9. So
That's awesome.
That is
You're the bomb, Bree.
congratulations. Way cool. That's right. You keep going. That's
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
he was like, in fact, before I leave this table, we're going to set a time to meet.
That is awesome.
Wow.
I hope you keep a journal. This happened this day. This
Yeah.
happened
Right,
this day.
exactly. That's
Because-
fantastic.
Okay. So I call mine homework for life.
Uh-huh.
Journal is another one. And I do this every day, and it's what you notice, or the thing that is this that has a story around it, or what was important, or what changed the way you think, or anything like that. And it's only a sentence or two. But if you go back, if I go back, I've been doing it for maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 years now. If I go,
Uh-huh.
the cool thing is, you know, how time just sort of rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. And it's like, what did I do last week or the week before? I don't know. It's the same old thing as today. And it just, and that's part of why psychologically, why time goes so fast and goes much slower for children, because for kids, every day is like something completely new. And the brain is, you know, wow, I've never seen a caterpillar before. I've never seen that, you know, walk around with a little kid and you take you 10 hours to go around the block because they're like, wow, look at the ant, you know? And that changing the brain and rewiring and new stuff in the brain every day slows time down psychologically,
Oh.
makes it feel slowed down, because you can literally go, wow, I learned about a caterpillar today, you know, or whatever. When you do homework for life, or what you notice, or that, and then you go and you look at it, every single day has something important or meaningful.
Oh.
And it's just the 5 seconds, or Bree, your 2-minute, 1-minute conversation, or whatever it was. It's really, really, really short, right? But
Right.
it changes things. It really does.
It's powerful.
Very. And so I can go back literally, and I can pull up any day, and I'm like, oh, and I remember the day, I remember the emotions,
Mm.
I remember the feelings all around it. And it really is, I'm very, very grateful that it was suggested to me, and I did it, and it only takes a second. It's literally of, this is the thing that was really, you know, wow. Yesterday I wrote all day long, and it made me, so my thing was like, you know, I wrote all day long, it made my brain kind of fried, but I only exercised for a half hour, and it wasn't enough. My body wasn't tired, but my brain got really goofy, and I started sending texts to my kids, and we were just playing back and forth. My kids are both like, facepalm, mom, because it was just so stupid. And I'm like, I'm making myself laugh. I don't care, whatever, you know. But it's just a silly little thing, but it was fun, you know, texting back and forth with the kids, just being completely stupid. But anyway, so I highly encourage you. So Kathy, yes, good idea on the journal thing. All right, Kay and Kathy, what do we got?
Well, my good news is I got my admin assistant set up for the lower number of hours, and I start on Monday.
Yay.
She's my virtual assistant. I guess that's the proper terminology.
Yes. Okay,
Great.
mine is my rock star right hand brains of the outfit. But you can call them whatever you want to call them.
Well,
Cool.
what I learned is that if you had one, even if you liked them and you didn't stick with them, they book them up with somebody else. So I have to start with a new one. But the old one is going to train the new one on what I had taught her so far. So I think that's a good news. So hopefully some of the stuff that I haven't been getting done, I can learn to delegate and get it done.
Way cool. Way cool. Congratulations. It's a
Yeah,
nice,
I canceled every other network I mean, not network marketing, but every other thing I had contracted with that I was spending money out and said, if I get rid of that, then I can afford this. And I think right now this is more important than that. So I prioritized and I got rid of something, which is big.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. We're doing the same thing. I've got 3 Brivity accounts. We're ditching one of them because that will give me that frees up those expenses to go the other direction to build out the website and that funnel. So cool beans. All right, Kathy, it's down to you.
It's down to me. I started out this morning trying to coordinate things with the property sale. So that's what I was doing when I got on the phone earlier. The HVAC people came out the other day to do their servicing and check and blah, 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 and fix the air purifier. Well, the air purifier wasn't working and discontinued on top of that. And we worked through it being under warranty because they tried to say it wasn't. And it was going to cost the clients about $1,000 or more, because the bulb alone is $300. So it's under warranty. They've tracked one down, which they said they couldn't find one. Tracked one down. They're coming out tomorrow morning, sometime tomorrow afternoon, whatever, to do it. Today, the radon remediation guy is coming, and we'll work that out and where it's going to go and all that good stuff. And then we're just down to the well inspection and the termite, wood infestation,
Right.
and off to close.
Cool.
Yay.
Hey, good for you.
Yep. Congratulations.
I do think that I want to make sure I get paid. And I think that there's a form that I need to do that I'm not sure where it comes from or if I've done it. So I've got to find that out. But
Does do you use a TC like Michelle or?
I didn't on this.
Okay. All right. Well, dig around then.
Yep.
All right. Now let's dig in. What kind of challenges? What's out there? Or what are you present to?
So I have I do property management, and in my heart, I'm like, I need to fire this client. Like, and so yesterday I was trying to figure out, well, I know some other property managers, I can, make a transition because I just get anxiety. So backstory, about 1.5 years ago, I sold this couple's home. I was selling. In the middle of the transaction, they decided to file for divorce.
That couple.
And there were allegations of guns and domestic violence, and it was messy. So we got through it and they separated. So the husband, fortunately, so it did get tied up. And they were like, the husband was like, the wife can keep all the proceeds. So literally he gave at closing the wife's account number and all the proceeds went to her. He's like, I just want out. So then he bought an investment property, and that's what I manage. It's a triplex, and we set up a contract. It's been easy going. I send updates, do whatever is needed. They reconciled. So she's been the point of contact, and she micromanages
Oh, Lord.
and doesn't listen to my suggestions.
Oh, have you met Kay?
Right.
Yes.
So we had a month-to-month, 2 tenants a month-to-month, and the property one needed to be deep cleaned, the other needed new flooring. And so I was like, until we can get everything in place, let's not terminate the month-to-month so that we'll have it smooth. So
Right.
she decided, nope, I just want a contract. I just want a 1-year tenant terminate before we find. I was like, you're gonna have a lapse
Mhm,
and you're gonna have to have money to fix up. Like, it's like thousands of dollars
mhm.
down to the subfloor. So now we have a month where we just have one of the triplexes, and getting contractors is hard.
Mhm.
And she's like, I don't understand. I don't mean to be mean, but you haven't given. I was like, literally, I've gone through 5 contractors. I've got one quote that's high, and I was like, I need you to break it down so I can compare apples to apples. Another one that's giving me another one. So in the midst of that, my heart's like, I need to, I'm like, I'm gonna do a clean break. She sends me a text. She calls me, and her calls are never, I can handle it. So I was like, let it go to voicemail. When I have like 45 minutes to handle her, I'll do it. So I got in the shower, came back, and there's a text saying, what can we do to, she's like, I'd like to end the contract today.
And
Cause
your
I'm-
contract?
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's with her husband, but whatever.
right.
Okay, that's,
But I've been thinking I want to clean this anyway. So I was like, let me not react. Give me about 10 minutes. I responded back. I was like, let's do a Zoom tomorrow and we'll talk about accounts and contracts. So she knows nothing about escrow. She knows nothing about the fair housing laws. I'm like, you know what? Call Gary. I'm done. So it's gonna be a blessing, but the anxiety that it gave me yesterday was, and I was like, you know what? And then after I realized I won't have to deal with this anymore, I felt better.
okay. What I was gonna offer to you, Brianna, is I'm glad you found your resolution. Congratulations. However, if that agreement was with her husband and you in the beginning, she has no business talking to you at all. And
Right.
this could, she has no business being in the middle of this at all unless some sort of addendum was made to that original contract saying she's your new point of contact. And now you got to this point. So I just say that to say that he can insert or try to insert anyone he wants in there, but unless it's in writing and in the contract, your agreement's with him.
With
And
it, yeah.
so I
Okay.
understand, the stress and anxiety she brought on. And I'm glad, again, you found the resolution that makes sense for you, because I'm all about reducing and eliminating stress and anxiety out of my life. But just moving forward, know that, she
So I called her
was
with both of them.
inconsequential.
So I'll mention that, like, I understand legally I don't have to, like it's with him. But I'm gonna give her a copy of the contract, which I'm sure he has not done.
Mm-hmm,
She's an alpha female
mm-hmm,
and railroads him. He is
mm-hmm.
So
I know a couple like that.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
and the
had,
thing is, let's see how well it goes when he's running it or she's running it for him as opposed to you, and then he'll realize the value he lost.
oh
And
yeah,
inserting
yeah.
her
Have
in
you
there.
already done the Zoom, Brianna?
I'm doing it today.
Make sure
at
he's on it
1.
too. Make
Yeah.
sure he's on it too.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, he needs to be. If he's the one
Yeah.
you're contracted with, he needs to be.
yeah.
Craig, this is a bunch of women. You have to just interrupt, sweetie.
Yeah, so I had well, I like listening too. So, I got a wife at home, so I have to be quiet.
That's all right. Jump
Good
in.
perspective, Craig. Good perspective.
He's well trained.
That's right. Absolutely. But I had a client like that. So young couple, just married. The wife was silent. The mother was taking over. The husband's mother was taking over. Never bought a house in her life. And she's coming out, and so I talked to the couple. I was like, listen, your mom's never bought a house. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And I told the wife, I said, this is you and Corey's home that you're looking for. You need to stop being so submissive. And I said it in front of the husband. I said, you need to stop being so submissive and voice your opinion. Because you have to live in this home as well, not your
Mhm.
mother-in-law.
And pay for it.
Yeah, that's right. So we were out at a inspection because this was when the market was it was still tough. We had went through about 2 or 3 homes, deals fell through and stuff. And we was out at this one particular home, and it had a retention pond in the neighborhood. It was happened to be behind this house. So she's asking, what's that? Told, it's a retention pond. So she wouldn't take my word for it. She keeps going back and forth. The inspector's there, and I says, Barry, what is that pond for? He says, you already told her 3 times. He says, I'm not gonna explain to her again, because you already explained to her.
Mhm.
So we're going through the house, she's picking out stuff, and I says, well, how long have you been in the house that you purchased? And she says, well, I haven't purchased the home. I said, well, how can you tell them about purchasing a home and you've never purchased one? And we kind of got into a little spat. Her son didn't like it, but at that point I didn't care, and I could have just kicked all of them out except the wife. She was really sweet. But I told him afterwards, I said, don't bring your mom back. I said, if you want a house and you want me to help you, or another agent for that fact, don't bring your mom back.
Mhm.
And she never came back.
Good for you.
Good for you is right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
she
that's a
was-
hard thing.
Yeah, she was.
Well,
out
and your
here-
responsibility is to the couple, not to the mother-in-law.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
to the
Exactly. She's
mother-in-law.
not a party of the contract.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly.
Unless she's paying it and gonna be on it. You're right.
Yep. Have you guys ever been fired from a job? Does
Yep.
anyone here?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, I'm in the right crowd.
Happily
Right,
so
right.
sometimes.
I've been fired as an agent.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, me too. Happily so
Nope, I haven't
sometimes.
had that one.
Yeah.
Did you know before you were fired that you probably were going to get fired?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
depends which time. No, I
The
didn't.
first time, no. My first time was a shock, but every other time, yes. And I've been fired 3 times. My point is this: when I was about to get fired, or when I'm about to, and I put this the other direction, when I'm about to fire the other person, they know. They know. I knew,
Mhm.
except for the first time, which, like I said, was a shock. I mean, a total like, wait, what? And then looking back, I'm like, well, you were young and stupid, because every sign was there, you fool. But every other time I've known, they know. So people know. So Brianna, your person, when they fired you, when you were getting ready to fire them, they knew. They knew. I know. So, I mean, it helps me when I think about, because I hate firing somebody, and I hate it for this reason. It's my fault if I hired them, and I look at it that way. Not your situation. You
Right.
had that person, fostered in or whatever. But I hate it, and so I don't like doing it. I can, and I do, and I have, but it's not something. I mean, I go through a lot of, did I train them appropriately? Did I do this? Did I do that? And then I fire them. They know though, and if they know and they're not stepping up and changing things or coming, you know what I mean, and going, hang on, I what do I do to make things work around here? Also, and that's on them too. So yeah, so your person knew. She knew, you knew. And I am glad that you are out. I mean, because ultimately it's not worth the stress, whatever it is you're getting. And the other reason, so I knew another girl that I knew, a real estate agent, and she fired everybody. And I couldn't close deals. And I'm like, okay, sweetie, the problem is not them. You are the common denominator here. And we really had to work on that about getting her through deals, because she just didn't put up with crap. Someone did something, she's like, I'm like, no, you got to work with people and their emotions. Like, you just have to.
Right.
And and then she could start to close deals. But that's not the situation with you. And it's not the situation with anybody here in this room. We're not those kinds of people that go around doing that. You know what I mean? And that was a rare breed. She's the only one I could think of that was like that. So they know, once, when it's done, how do you think you will feel, or how are you feeling now that you, like in your head is like, we're done?
Yeah. Like,
How you
and
feel? Okay,
the
go ahead.
husband, I'm like, and I now see why the marriage is wonky, but it's gonna be crazy for them.
Mhm.
because he literally, like, he has a goal, like he wants to buy rental property, he wants to do this, he wants that, and well, whatever she is. But the transition, like with him, I'm like, y'all just state what your goals are. If you want to manage it, I don't mind teaching you, but don't sabotage.
Mhm.
Can I help?
Yes.
There's a thing called reality therapy. And
Oh,
it's 4 questions.
uh-huh,
What do you want?
uh-huh,
And give him time, give him, what does he want? What do you want? And give him time to answer. And if someone's really dealing with a lot of massive life stuff, it might take somebody a week or a month to really answer, what do you want?
uh-huh,
But what do you want's the first one. What
uh-huh.
are you doing to get there is the second one. So what do you want? What are you doing to get there? The third one is a great Dr. Phil. Is that working? And then when the answer is clearly no, it's
What?
clearly no, is it working? So what do you want? First one, and give them time to fully get that down to where it's a nice succinct answer. What are you doing to get there? And then tell them, they'll tell you what their plan is. So this is what I'm doing, boom, boom, boom. And then after they're all the way done with that, is it working?
Mhm.
And have your voice come up on that one. Is it working? On that one? And then you know the answer is no. Even if it's a pause, you know the answer is no. The answer is no, we wouldn't be here. That's clearly no. Better rethink the plan.
Do rethink. the plan.
Better rethink the plan. That's reality therapy. It's a great set of 4 questions when it works across a lot of segments of life.
Can you repeat those, please?
Sure.
do you
What do you want?
Uh-huh.
What do you want? What are you doing to get there?
Okay.
Is it working? Better rethink the plan. My girlfriend worked at Western State, which is the hospital that was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That hospital. So it was modeled after that hospital. The hospital's got this big long history of horror. Anyway, she worked there, and that's what they would use as they were going through counseling and all that. And I was like, that is flipping brilliant.
And what was
Mhm.
the 4th question again? Sorry.
You know, you're fine. Better
Is-
rethink
is-
the plan.
Better rethink the plan. Okay.
Yep.
This is just called a reality check.
Reality therapy. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it's funny because I was talking to another coach in North Dakota, and she did a whole seminar thing on this. And she's like, I did this whole seminar, I did this whole talk, and it was like an hour-long talk. And she's like, I just asked them this, what are you doing? And is it, and what are you doing? What is, and I was just like, that's reality therapy. She's like, how do you know that? Because it's like old classic, how to help people, work through their issues, where you're asking the questions and they're working. They're working it through. You're not working it through for them. It is better to ask questions and have them come up with their answer than it is to tell them what is wrong with them, because they won't own it. They just won't. If you can figure out how to word things. I was with another group. I was trying really hard because my natural instinct is just to tell people, look, what you're doing is not working. Let me show you what does work. That's my natural. And then I had to really, I'm like, and her name's Dawn. She's like, Gina, just spit it out. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to formulate a question. She's like, you're not coaching me. And I'm like, I know, but I want you to open this. And, and it's really a struggle for me a lot of times. But if you can form questions and get people to think, and here's the thing, psychologically, we can't leave a question unanswered. Our brains doesn't
Mhm.
do it. It just hangs and hangs and hangs and it torments you for forever. So I highly recommend like reality therapy with your person, and maybe that will and direct them to him. And if she answers, go back to him. Well, hang on.
Mhm.
I'm talking to Bob. I'm asking you, what do you want? And then, because I can picture that too. Okay, Bob, what do you want? And keep on taking it back to Bob, and then let them do whatever they want to do. They can do whatever mess that they're in, because clearly they're in a mess. And he needs to deal with it, because it seems like his pattern is to run or to fold.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
to step back.
Yeah. So
Are you prepared, Brianna, if he says he wants you to stay?
We're no. Well, yes. So he would have to put his foot down as far as who I deal with.
Right, and if he says
hang
that
on,
he deals
hang on,
with
hang on.
her,
Can I hang on?
There-
I want to stay here 1 second. Who has to put their foot down?
He
On-
does.
Who has to
Oh,
put
well,
down
me,
on who they deal with?
me. But
Okay,
if he says he would like her to be involved, we'd have to do new contract because she's not on it. I'm done.
yeah, I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah,
Mm,
It's not effective.
mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm
because
just not willing to do that.
you're gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
and if he says he wants her to, being devil's advocate here,
Mhm.
and you're willing to work something out, do you have any kind of guidelines that this is the way you will communicate and work together?
No, I don't. Well, for them, no.
Or do you even want to bother?
I
Because you
don't.
already know what she's like.
Right. I do not. Like,
Okay.
she kept trying to get me to give her an estimate on the flooring. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole because she would hold me to it. I'm not the contractor.
Right.
So I kept, contractors are great at saying, oh, it's going to cost 5,000. I was like, I need itemized. And so when I
Well,
asked for itemized, he didn't put numbers next to itemization.
Right.
So, so I had to keep going back. And I was like, I need labor and materials. And so I can do apples to apples. She doesn't see all the back room. So when I gave her the roundabout and I said, it's high, but I'm going to, full transparency, I think I can get it down. She was all up in arms.
Yeah, I don't know if this would work, whether for somebody else or not. But as we were talking and when I did jump in, I don't know if Curbio has anything that they will do or has a plan set up in this kind of situation where you're working with apartments.
No, they do not.
It's all about selling and getting the proceeds out of escrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I don't see, you're an apartment owner, you need to like suck it up and pay for the dang thing. So,
Yeah.
all right, well, Bree, I am, one, I'm very proud of you, and two, congratulations for drawing a line because you have boundaries and it's a good thing to have those boundaries. And there's no dollar amount that's worth our reputation or our sanity when somebody's crazy, crazy's crazy. That's what they are. And I think it was Dave Ramsey when I heard him talk one time. He came and spoke at this event thing I was at, and he's like, I don't hire crazy, don't hire married to crazy. And I was like, yeah.
I got both.
Well, and I want to say same to Craig for drawing the line in his
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
there too, because,
Yeah,
much
absolutely.
like the realtors, mother-in-laws and whatever walk away from the transactions and then they're not in it anymore when the checks are being paid and everything else to pay for that property. So I want to say congratulations to you for kind of like drawing the line with them and saying your responsibility is to them. And she's a
And,
hindrance there.
I think you can use that as well, Bree. You can ask her, like, how many times have you done this? Are you experienced at doing it?
Yeah. How many
Right,
properties have you
right.
managed?
Yeah. Have you managed properties before?
Can I, go ahead.
It's not as easy as you think,
Especially with apartments, they'll figure out real quick how
Yeah.
much value you brought when the apartments.
Yeah, no
Well,
She
kidding.
wanted me to
starts falling
break some
apart.
fair housing laws. Like, she was literally
Exactly.
like, I
Yeah,
want you to only market to this group.
Oh my. I'm
Yeah,
already-
no. You can't, that's against every law on Canada. The only way you are allowed to discriminate on a property is if you are renting a room in the house you live in. And at that point, the fair housing laws don't apply on any level. And
Right.
you can discriminate all the way to kingdom come. Any other situation cannot do it, period. And then I'm going to encourage you to do one more thing. You said I'll help with the transition. I would be really think about that. And the reason why is it's already contentious. Do you owe them anything?
No, they owe me.
Bingo. Okay. So be really, really careful of that. I wanted to do it over and over again. And Gary and I've had this conversation also that we want to do it because we want to help people out. We want to And every time it's a nightmare because what we forget is that the person on the other side does not
Mm.
like we do. They
Mhm.
don't think like we do. If they did, we probably wouldn't be in this situation. But if we did and they needed help, then we would obviously do it. They would be grateful of the help and it would be really good. It would set them going the other direction. But they're not, they're resentful, and then they steal and take. And it's really, really been an ugly situation
Yeah.
every single time.
And
So
And I'm
what
just gonna
Liz
add one more
said-
thing, Bree. Make sure he is in the room. And if he cannot be in the room, do not have the meeting, or make sure that there is some sort of sign off that some representative that he has issued is in that room with her. You need another set of ears because she sees your lips moving, but she's not listening to a word you're
Mhm.
saying.
Yeah.
She's already
Okay.
working her own agenda in her mind.
Yeah.
And
Right.
she's gonna report that story back to whoever wants to ask her about it. So unless it's recorded, and I don't know if it can be, and I mean, Virginia has its own laws, but like, he needs to be in the room, period, as the person
That's
who's signing
very
on the
good.
deals. And if you're uncomfortable, even if it's a third set of ears with the two of them and you,
Right.
if that
Yeah.
helps, because she's not hearing a thing.
Cause some
And
people.
you've
hear-
already experienced that
hear
she's not hearing a
totally
word you're
different
saying,
things
and she's
here.
gonna tell whatever story she's already made up in her mind about all this,
Absolutely,
moving on.
absolutely. Some
And I
people
was
hear
gonna,
the total opposite of what you say. You know,
Mhm.
I would just be done with it. If you're not going to, I would let them
Okay.
know, listen, I'm done
Yep.
with it.
yeah,
And
and-
let them crash and burn themselves. Let
Yeah.
them go and crash and burn.
Yeah.
And, figure it out on their own. And either they'll try to come back to you or they'll find somebody else.
who's
Yeah,
crazy?
but your communication and obligation is to him, not to her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
exactly.
That's actually a good point too. Thank you, Liz and Craig and everybody for bringing that up. If you're ever dealing with a narcissist or worse, and I'm not saying she is, I'm not saying that at all. If you ever are, there's two ways that you have to do it. If you have to interact and deal, one is a witness of some sort, or CC'd, or email, or a train of something that shows something. Or the other way is what, oh my gosh, it shouldn't be my middle finger, but maybe it should be my middle finger. The other way is 0 witnesses, say what the heck you really feel and want, and make sure that nobody else hears you on
Yeah.
any level. But
Right.
it needs to be one of the two, because anything else, everything you say can and will be used against you, like
Right.
flat out can't. So you
Yeah.
have to be really, really, really careful. But yes, make sure he's in the room. And if he's not, I'm sorry, I can't have this meeting. I don't have, you're not a party to the contract. When can we reschedule?
Right.
We just have to reschedule.
And
Actually,
follow up the communications with the email, like Gina said, even if you're rescheduling, we're rescheduling to this date, copy him on it.
Reason,
yep,
for
Yeah.
this reason.
Yeah,
CYA.
send to him and, copy her if she wants to be copied, but your communication and responsibility is to him.
Yep, CYA,
Okay.
all of it. All right, you prepped?
I'm prepped. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Awesome.
And-
You'll do great.
Brianna, I want to say one more thing. You can shut
Yeah.
off if you want to, but as far as doing that transition, and I know everybody sort of said their part about it, I wouldn't do it for another reason too. And that's simply because from what I'm hearing from you, if something goes wrong, she's going to come back and sue you for the training that you gave her,
Exactly.
saying that it was the wrong
Oh.
training.
Yeah,
Right,
just
okay.
cleanly cut it out. Cleanly
Okay.
cut it out. Let them come back to you if it's meant to be.
Cancer.
I agree.
Cut cancer out. And then if it doesn't go away, you radiate it.
Yeah.
Then if it doesn't go
Well,
away,
anyway,
chemo it.
Good
Get it
point,
out.
Kathy.
yeah, I just can see her being that kind of person.
Yep. All right, you all have a fabulous day. I am super looking forward to tomorrow because last week we had the glitch and we didn't have very many people on, but this week we will, and I am just really looking forward to it. So have a great rest of your day.
You
Thank
as
you.
well.
Have a good one.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.